Well, welcome to the Top Gun Show. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing Landis, the Senior Solutions Consultant for LiveVox, the sponsor of the Top Gun Show. Rocking the cup, the shirt, the glasses, I got it all here, representing LiveVox. Well, Landis is an experienced Senior Solutions Consultant with a demonstrated history of working in the contact center industry. He's skilled in operations management, contact centers, management, customer experience, and business process improvement. Landis, welcome to the Top Gun Show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Nice to have you on, man. I've been looking forward to this. This is great. Well, we had LiveVox on the Top Gun Show back in November, and a common thread throughout what everyone talked about was LiveVox's strength in compliance. Tell the viewers why LiveVox is considered an industry leader in compliance.
Absolutely. It really starts with the LiveVox platform was born and bred in a highly regulated environment such as financial services. Every capability we developed is viewed through the lens of compliance. We have a game-changing solution known as HCI, and that assists with outbound dialing and mitigating TCPA risk. When it comes to managing other regulatory environments, like CFPB, Regulation F. I won't get into all of them. We offer a multi-channel temp supervisor, two-way messaging, speech analytics, and quality management products. Effectively, you no longer have to choose between productivity and risk mitigation.
Very nice. I love it. Well, Aaron Akery was on last week, and he mentioned that your HCI product is a strong leg of your outbound engine. So will you elaborate on that, the HCI product through a lens of compliance, please?
Absolutely. So HCI is a prime example of LiveVox being born and bred in highly regulated environments. And really it's our effort to curb impacts with technological innovation. Human Call Initiator, or simply HCI, was built to tackle continuously evolving regulations such as the TCPA. In the distant past, you could just run your entire business through an auto dialer, which is no longer the case. With the TCPA, this has led to ever-changing restrictions, which really eliminates automatic dialers from unconsented cell phones. And it also has an impact on text messaging, which not a lot of folks consider. So not only do you have to be mindful of your traditional outbound voice efforts, you really have to start anticipating challenges as you transition to this digital strategy. Rules like TCPA inevitably have caused fines and a lot of litigation. Organizations simply cannot ignore compliance. HCI is purpose-built, for robust productivity and risk mitigation. Through ongoing investments in both technology, legal ecosystems, we truly have created an industry-leading product in terms of both tech innovation and, as in the case of HCI, the demonstrated ability to withstand legal challenges. We don't just tout this, we've been battle tested in court. LiveVox is undefeated when it comes to our HCI technology, so we don't just say that it's TCPA risk mitigation, we back it up.
Undefeated, baby. Only with LiveVox. I love it. I love it. Well, hey, many of us, both as partners and as end users, have heard about the implications of call blocking due to stir shaken. I know that LiveVox touts their success in mitigating the effects of stir shaken. Do you mind talking to that for the viewers that are watching?
Yeah, so much to unpack with stir shaken. I will do my best to be brief. Well, beyond stir shaken just being a laborious acronym, it's a regulatory requirement and it's complex. So I'll paint a picture and kind of explain what stir shaken aims to mitigate and why it's crucial for organizations to have implemented these required protocols. So I would venture to guess a lot of us have received a call that says spam likely. I would almost guarantee it. I'd also equally guarantee that you probably didn't even answer that call. This is what the FCC would call an epidemic, so much so that it's the #1 complaint that they field on average over the last 5 years. So what happens if you call one of these numbers back? And here's a real life scenario. I actually called one of these back and it was my daughter's pediatrician office. My daughter's pediatrician office, a legitimate business, came across my phone as spam likely. I didn't answer. I had to call back. The receptionist literally just trying to confirm an appointment. And she said that it's amazing how many parents have to call back and forth just because of this spam likely. And it's just very challenging for them to do business. So inevitably, there's this gentle balance of stopping robocalls, but also enabling a path for legitimate business to be relatively unencumbered. That's where stir shaking comes into play. This is the FCC's requirement as of June 30th, which is already in the rear view. If you're working with folks that have not completed stir shaking, really put a lot of scrutiny into that, because these rules and regulations have a substantial impact on your operations, not only because of potential fines and litigation, but it impacts your ability for your outbound dialing efforts to get to your end consumer. If you rely on outbound dialing efforts to talk to customers, imagine what would happen if half of those calls simply didn't go through, or another population came up as spam likely. Simply put, would not be good for business. So basically, stir shaking boils down to this, and forgive me if I get into the weeds here. It's digital validation for calls passing through web of networks. It effectively tells the customer that the caller ID they see is legitimate and it can be trusted. LiveVox has completed stir shaking protocols, and we carry the highest level of attestation. To spare you hundreds of pages of regulation, just know that any call launched off the LiveVox platform will get to its end customer. The last thing I'll make mention of when it comes to stir shaking is the inbound impacts. Largely, this is an outbound regulatory requirement. But think about inbound. Imagine you're a business that is fielding these spam calls. I actually worked with a client recently who had to purge 21,000 voicemails in a single year because they were bogus spam calls. Imagine the time it takes to do that. Imagine how many legitimate customer calls fall through the cracks as you traverse and navigate through the spam. It really is a detriment to creating brand trust. If you don't respond to a voicemail, customers are just going to become detractors, and all in, that's just bad for business. So for this company, obviously the inbound standpoint, very critical. But if you're dialing outbound wise, you have questions about stir shaking, reach out to LiveVox. We're happy to walk through it, give you some consultative advice, share best practices, but I'll leave it at this. Any efforts off the LiveVox platform is not going to be an issue, and you will contact more customers.
Yeah, you don't have to repeat all that. Just remember LiveVox. That's the main point here. Landis, good job, man. Very technical, but easy to understand. Well, Landis, I know you're a big fan of the Top Gun Show, and that I know you know there are millions and millions of people watching you right now. Why don't you tell the viewers a fun little known fact about yourself?
Oh, when you are put on the spot to think of stuff that's interesting, you tend to suddenly start thinking you're not that interesting. But I'll say this. I'm a Seinfeld fanatic. It's literally my favorite show of all time. And I literally reference this or quote it daily. There's a lot of lessons to be learned from Seinfeld, as a matter of fact. And one pearl of wisdom is especially germane to the season. And I was thinking about this today. And that is, how long do you have to wish somebody a happy new year beyond the 1st of January? So according to Seinfeld canon, it is simply the month of January. So take it from me and Seinfeld, don't be that person that's happy new yearing someone in February or March. If that's the case, you're doing it wrong. So to the viewers of Top Gun, I will say this: Happy New Year, best of 2022. And if you happen to be listening to this after January 31st, I'll catch you again in January 2023. Happy New Year, everybody.
Boy, the stuff you can learn by watching the Top Gun Show. You know, Jerry keeps trying to get on the show, and I won't let him in because he's not technical. So, hey, Landis, thanks a lot for being a guest on the show today. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, Steve. Thank you for allowing me to be here and represent LiveVox. Much appreciated.
Thanks for watching, everybody.